of wisdom? What's the point of being a chacham? What's the point of knowledge?
For knowledge, I would say for understanding, to understand, purpose and what we're supposed to do.
Nice.
So that's the first thing that comes to my head.
Beautiful. That's good.
All right, the first thing that came to my mind was growth, I think. Like we can't really move forward. Like little children, they're born with nothing, and as they get more knowledge, that's called growing. So
nice. I like both definitions. So, and I want to work with that because the Rambam and the Maharal both said, the Rambam says that if you have wisdom, but you don't integrate it and it doesn't change you, if that wisdom doesn't change you, I don't remember what he says, either you're like an animal or you're worse than an animal. Meaning, and the Maharal says the whole purpose of Chachma is for it to be integrated and actualized, meaning to make you into a better person, to make you, the knowledge is not just supposed to be, oh, I know more than you. It's supposed to change you. It's supposed to affect you in your life. So now with that, let's go into this question. So Ezehu Chacham, and also, by the way, just another point, the Nesiva Shalom points out that we don't look at it, Torah doesn't view, like if you know more, that's not a virtue if you didn't put effort into it. If you're naturally bright and you didn't do anything, things come easy to you and you know a lot of knowledge, we don't really, okay, it's cute, it's nice, you know a lot, but that's not special in the Torah's eyes. What's special in the Torah's eyes is the effort and the passion for wisdom and fine. So when the Mishnah answers Halom made mikol adam, what comes to your mind? So if that's what Chochmah is about, if Chochmah is about attaining wisdom in order that it should change you and that it could help you grow, it could help you have more understanding, to be a better person and to move in that direction, Halom made mikol adam is an interesting definition. That's what makes you wise. So I'll give you a couple pshatim of the way they explain this line of learning from everyone. So Rashi says that a true chacham is someone that puts all of his effort into acquiring wisdom. He has a passion for wisdom, and therefore he values wisdom more than anything. He puts wisdom before his ego, meaning he's willing to learn from people who are much lower than him. He's willing to learn from everyone. He's open to learning from even people that he doesn't like. As we'll see, there's those that understand the pasuk that is quoted by David HaMelech, that David HaMelech was interested in learning from everyone, mikol milomdai, from all my teachers, even my enemies. I learned from everyone because wisdom is not there to boost my ego. It's not there to make me feel like a true wise person. The way we define a chacham is someone that has a passion for wisdom and puts it before everything because he knows that it's important for his growth and everything. And that's why Halom made mikol adam expresses that, because he's willing to learn from everyone. He's willing to he doesn't care if it's a 5-year-old. If a 5-year-old has something to say, I'm open. I don't care that, and it's such a big thing to be open to what people have to say before your ego. That's one idea. Rabbeinu Yonah says in a similar shot, he actually opens up saying that it's known even in the secular world that if someone knows a lot, but he doesn't love wisdom, he doesn't appreciate wisdom, he's a fool. He says that that's from the umos. He doesn't even say it, meaning it's a known thing that if you know a lot, but you don't love wisdom, you don't have a passion for wisdom, and it's just, thank you, and it's just like a nice thing, it's foolish. And he says, in addition, therefore, someone who has a passion for wisdom, Rabbeinu Yonah finishes on another vein. He says, if you keep moving forward and you keep wanting to understand, and you keep wanting to go, eventually you'll get to the truth, which will lead you to really connecting to God. So that's another understanding. And the Maharal says just an interesting point that if we see someone has so much passion for wisdom that he's willing to put himself out to learn from whoever, that shows that he integrates his wisdom because he understands. It's similar to it's all one, but they all have like different points. That wisdom is basically there for actualizing, and when one puts himself out there, it means he knows how important it is, and therefore he must be actualizing it. Just an interesting thing, Reb Nachman says in the Kutei Moharan, that, which I think is also very connected to this, of Halomin Mikol Adam, Reb Nachman says that each person has their own nekuda. Each person has their own point to learn from, to connect with. And he says you have to connect with everyone's nekuda. And I think every single person has another expression, another thing that they excel at, another thing that they can offer and bring to the table. And Halomin Mikol Adam, if you learn from everyone and you gather and you're open to hearing everyone's approach, eventually you will acquire more wisdom, which will give you the ability to grow and connect to the Eibishter. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Does each person have a different nekuda, or is there like a limited amount of nekudos? Like, let's say there's 10 nekudos, and then like we each have like a personality.
Meaning in that Torah, Reb Nachman says that you have to connect to the nekuda of 3 nekudas. The nekuda of the tzaddik, meaning your rebbe, your teacher, a guide, your friend, your chaver, and yourself. And so I'm sort of like elaborating on that like we all have what to offer, especially a friend, especially people who you're close with, to learn from them and to be open. They have points that you can't see, your rabbis can't see, or people that your mentors can't see, and your friends have a certain understanding of you that they could offer. So maybe, meaning Halomin Mikol Adam, meaning of course learning from everyone, but meaning learning from the people around us and being open to what they have to say in our own self-development makes us a wise person. So I'm not sure 10, whatever, but that's the context which he's talking about. Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next one. So Ezehu Gibar, who is, I just love these. They're so like, just like a paradigm shift, like Gibar, like we look at a mighty person, who got more muscles, who's stronger, who knows karate. But the question is, so what's a Gibar? What's the true definition of Gibar? So let's just read it. Hakovish es Yitzro, the one who conquers his Yetzer, his instinctual inclination and his lower self, his nefesh. Shenamar, as it says in the pasuk, Tov erech hapayim migibar. He that is slower to anger, the pasuk in Mishlei, is better than the mighty. Umoshel barucho, and someone that rules his spirit, who rules over himself, milochidir, is better or is more powerful than one that conquers the whole city. So now let's just delve into this line. So before we delve into this, like, what's strength? What's the point of strength? Even in a secular, what is strength for?
Protection.
Okay. I hear you.
No way.
No, for sure. That's one. What do you think, Meyer?
What is strength for?
Or power?
What's power for?
Maybe ability.
Yeah.
Big one.
That's a big one.
I think it's for like maybe like also, I don't know I don't know the right word to explain to describe. I'm thinking like for our ego, like we need to feel good a little bit,
Mm.
right? We need like knowing I have strength and knowing my power makes, I couldn't just like live uh
Like for your
yeah,
self-esteem.
yeah, exactly.
So, Gewalt. So I'll tell you what I thought before going into this mission, and I think it's connected to both of what you were saying. Um, Power is there for you so that you can overcome anything which is preventing you or attacking you and holding you back from what you truly desire to do. So let's take the example of protection, meaning, so you don't want this guy to get in, so therefore power helps, or it gives you ability to do whatever you want, to do what you truly desire. It gives strength on its deepest level, gives you the ability to feel good about yourself. But it's not necessarily the strength. Let's say you just felt good without the strength. So therefore, it's not necessarily, meaning at the deepest core of it, maybe it's not the muscles, but it's the ability to be powerful, where you could just be who you want to be and do what you truly want to do and not let anything get in the way. Does that make sense? So if that's true, meaning, for example, right, like nowadays, like people want to be strong for looks and to feel good. So ultimately, if let's say they were just able to, what's holding them back? That feeling of not being able, not feeling good. So if they were able to feel good without being strong, maybe that's true strength, just being able to get past all those negative thoughts, all those negative emotions, and just feeling good just because I am, and just bypassing the Yetzer. Because ultimately, and ultimately, meaning we all want to live according to our value system or what we believe to be true. And we have this, so there's external things that might prevent us from doing that. But ultimately, most of the time, what's really preventing us from being who we want to be is our Yetzer. And if one has complete control over that, you're mamish the most powerful. And that's basically, meaning true power, as Rashi says, true strength is being able to have complete control over one's Yetzer, his lower instinctual self, his reactive self, his temptations, where he's always acting and reacting from a place of wisdom and seichel and intellect of this is right, this is wrong, and not having to fall into that lower self of being pushed around and knocked around, meaning he's always able to just be powerful and say what he needs to say and do what he needs to do, where he's not controlled by other people, other things, where he's able to live from his higher self. And I think the word kovesh is actually very powerful, because kovesh is not necessarily saying to kill it, it's saying to conquer it and to like harness that energy to be able to use your Yetzer, where you're the rider of the horse, where you're the one who says you're riding the horse and you could tell him to go right, go left, and navigate. Meaning if someone's muscular and but like if a little chihuahua starts barking at him, he freaks out because, okay, that's nice. Or even with all of his muscles, he feels horrible about himself. So then would you call him truly strong? Because the point of strength is there for him to really be big and have self-esteem, have confidence. So, and what's really holding him back is his Yetzer.
So a difference of physical strength and kind of emotional or spiritual strength in a way.
100%.
And also to get a little sidetracked for strength in regards to just like bodybuilding or like building to look good. I feel like that came about through, humankind in a way, like that kind of just strength. I feel like, I don't know. I mean, this is all like a guess in my opinion. My opinion, what strength used to be was to feel good, because you got to have some sort of muscles in your body. The older I get, the more I realize, obviously, you got to do things, or else your body's going to hurt. Or certain scenarios, to be strong physically was to feel good. And then it became a thing to look good in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings a whole nother topic if you really want to speak about it like that. But I like what you're saying in regards to the emotional, strength, and that's what it's for, when to be in control of your HR. So, I mean, that was a small side topic that I was thinking about, like, what was strength? Like, why do we like feel good about yourself if you're really strong? Like, when did that come about, physically? I'm assuming, my assumption was that it came about, we worked out or whatever, got stronger for it to feel good, because that helped our physical, so that we could serve God, whatever, our purpose.
That could give us the abilities, as you said.
Yeah.
We have more access to more things, and we could do more, and we could be,
It's like pushing out your limits a little in a way.
100%. It's just an interesting thing. I think also, meaning the idea that people work out these days to look good, ultimately, that's a Yetzer issue. Because,
right. It's like the opposite.
Exactly. Meaning you're working out because you're insecure. Meaning if you just felt secure, that would solve the issue.
Or you feel good with the strength at your core, or wherever the situation is.
Exactly. Meaning we have to, as Yidden, meaning it's an inside-out reality. What makes us feel good, and that's what we're going to see. The next one is Ezehu Ashir Asamech V'Chalko, but it's an inside-out reality. We want to be happy, or we want to be confident just because we are. And obviously, we want to be healthy so that we could be stronger and we could do more and we could thrive more. But ultimately, what's holding us back, meaning why, if people are working out in order for them to feel good, maybe we should just try to work on the things that are making them not feel good and just work on that intrinsic feeling good, because circumstances are not what make people happy. It's just being happy. And if it's dependent on circumstances, so then ... And that's, I think it leads us right into the next one, which is Ezehu Ashir. So who is wealthy? Who is a wealthy person? So the Mishnah says, Hasameach b'chalkom, one who rejoices and is misameach, he's happy with his lot. Shenamar, as it says in the pasuk, Yegia kapecha kisochal ashrecha v'tov lach, that he who you shall work or enjoy the fruit of your labor, meaning of your hands, and yagia kapecha, meaning the work of your hands, kisocha, when you eat it, ashrecha, you should be praiseworthy, v'tov lach, and it should be prosperous, it should be good for you. And the Mishnah continues, ashrecha b'olam hazeh, praiseworthy, or you shall be happy. Ashrei is also happy. So you shall be happy in this world. B'olam hazeh v'tov lach le'olam haba, and you shall prosper, and should be good for you in the next world. So ultimately, why do people really, this Mishnah is just like, it's a great one, because money, we're so driven by money in 2020, that what do we really want? What do we really want? What does money do for us that we really want? Anyone want to pop in? Freedom. Nice. Money makes you happy. Ability, right? You could do whatever you want. It raises your quality of life. You could do more. And ultimately, what does raising the quality of life do? Ultimately, it makes you free. It makes you happy. It makes you content. It makes you feel complete that I'm good. I'm chilling. I'm in a jacuzzi right now. You know what I mean? I'm chilling. So when you're feeling like that, it feels good. So ultimately, if one has all the money and you're not reaching that place, and on the opposite, it's making you more. Meaning, as the Gemara says, that one that wants 100, once you got the 100, you want 200. You always want more, and you never die with your full tithe in your hand. And I think, by the way, this being Oshir, and when it says being Mesameach B'chalko, it's not just referring to money-wise. It's referring to who your parents are, who your friends are, where you live, how you look, what gifts Hashem gave you. It's your whole chelek. It's everything. And who's a true wealthy person? Someone that's besimcha. And I just want to define besimcha. Simcha, by the way, is a freeing. Rav Nachman says in Torah Yod Tinyana that ki besimcha teitzeu, meaning simcha is the world of freedom, as opposed to atzvus is golus. Depression is our own personal exile, or being stuck in anxiety in that place. That's our own personal exile, as opposed to when one is besimcha, one is free. One is free. One is thriving. Because the definition of simcha doesn't mean ecstasy. Simcha doesn't mean walking around ecstatic or like on the moon, like going crazy. Simcha is defined as you feel whole. You feel shalom. You feel complete. You feel at peace. You feel content. That's what simcha is. Simcha is not this where you're content with your lot. You're cool with it. You feel whole. You feel like you're not lacking. And Rashi says right over here that like, what good is wealth if it doesn't provide you happiness? Meaning, if it's just making you more like, if it's not doing anything for you, and on the contrary, it's making you more crazy. So then, it's not really worth too much. By the way, and like the pasuk in Mishnah, says Tov Leiv Mishta Tamins, that some commentators understand that someone has a good heart is like always drinking, is always partying, and someone who has like is cool with his lot, he's cool, he's living the life. And just to tie it in a little more, some commentators on this speak out that emunah is really important for this. Emunah really helps with being content with one's lot when one understands that whatever he has is exactly what he's supposed to have. He realizes that everything's a gift. He's living, it's actually, the haflas is an interesting thing, that it's human nature to rejoice when you get a new possession, when you get something new. And Hasameach b'chalko is someone that's rejoicing constantly, and he's living in a state of gratitude. He's always there. It's always fresh. It's always new. He's always grateful for all the gifts that Hashem gives him. And just to finish, I want to continue a little more in this, because we'll go to the Ashracha v'Tovlach. How is it? But the Sfas Emes has an interesting idea on the whole Pirkei Avos, where he says that Pirkei Avos is all of these things are also talking on a spiritual level. It's not just talking on a physical level. And I think this is an important point, that even in Ruchnius, even in one's self-development, even in one's Avodas Hashem, that one also has to be happy with where he's at and want more. Meaning, this is where I'm at, thank you. Like, it's like finding your Nekudas Tovos and being like, thank God I'm here. And to appreciate where you're at in your Avodah, and at the same time also want more. To live with that duality where, of course, I want more and I always want to grow, because some commentators say that this doesn't apply to Ruchnius, because of course you always want more and you always want to grow. But there's also that level of being content with where you're at and celebrating where you're at and being grateful for where you're at in your process. And Simcha, it's actually, and it's just coming to me right now, the Shem Yishmuel says that there's a pasuk that says, Sosa nochi alem rosecha kamotze shalol rov, that like sason v'simcha, sason is like like ecstasy. It's like you just won the lottery and you're like wild. Simcha, he says, is the joy of the process. It's like you're happy. It's like this is the idea of sukkahs. I don't know where I heard this from Simcha Frischling, but I don't know who he got it from. But that simcha is, the idea of simcha is sukkahs. Zman simcha seinu. What is that time? It's the time where we're going to Eretz Yisrael and we have that goal, right? We're not there yet, but at the same time, we're happy that we're under the Anani HaKavod. We're in the desert. We're with Hashem right now. And at the same time, we have the goal. It's the joy of the process. And being Misameach B'chelko is that you're cool with where you're at. And at the same time, wanting more from a growth place. Any thoughts? Good? Thumbs up? Okay, so now let's just do those last two lines, which we did. Ashrecha ba'olam hazeh v'tov lach ba'olam haba. So why? Obviously, you're happy in this world because you're content and you're happy and you're living the life, you know? You're chilling. But why is it good for the next world? Why is being happy good for the next world? So on a basic level, Rashi speaks out because there's no need for jealousy. There's so many, let's say, averos and things that come from just being jealous or the competition with others, and that you have to be fake and you're this, that, because you're not content with who you are. So you have to go wild and prove yourself. So it's good for you in the next world. Also, the Machzor Vitri says that he never doubts God. He's happy with his lot, and he has emunah, and he's content, and he doesn't fall into depression, and he's just at peace, and he's always living in a state of gratitude. So he doesn't lose that emunah. He's just there. Also, just I was thinking, the pasuk says in Ki Savo that after all the 98 curses, it says Tachas asher lo avadtas Hashem Elokecha b'simcha v'tov levav merov kol. That all of this happened because you didn't serve Hashem b'simcha. And the Rambam says that it's worth it to get punished because you didn't serve Hashem b'simcha. That an intrinsic part of avodas Hashem is being b'simcha. Nachman says mitzvah gedol yes b'simcha, but tamid always. But the idea is that we are supposed to be serving Hashem from a place of contentness, from a place of gratitude. And I just not only that, that's the best way we could be. Meaning, by the way, this doesn't take away from Leiv Nishbar, from being a broken heart, even though they are two separate things. But depression or being stuck holds one back from serving Hashem. And Ivdu as Hashem b'simcha. Okay, so that's just another idea. And now let's just go to the last line of this Mishnah and then call it a night. So the Mishnah says, Ezehu mechubad, who is honored, who is honorable? So the Mishnah says, Hamachabed es habrios, one that honors everyone. He's a truly honored person. Shenamar, as it says in the pasuk, Ki mechabdai achabed, achbed, because the ones that honor me, I will honor. Uboizai yekalu, and the ones that embarrass me, so to speak, Hashem's talking about himself, yekalu, shall be cursed. So that pasuk is interesting because that's talking about God. So what does that have to do? How does that prove that honoring other people makes you honorable? We'll get to that. So just the question is, who honors who? Because it's a debate in the commentators. Who's honoring you? Who is honorable? So by who? By other people or by God? So Rav and Rabbeinu Yonah say it's like a little switch from what we were talking about before, because all the other things that we were mentioning before were all ideas of, meaning when one is a real chacham, when one is truly a gibor and kovesh es yitzro, and one is b'sameach b'chalko, those things all help you serve Hashem. Those things. So Rav and Rabbeinu Yonah say, this is like sort of like a switch. Like Ben Shlomo is like giving you a little practical advice. If you want to be an honorable, if you want to really have people to respect you and for you to have positive relationships, respect other people. Tachlis. And respect. Rashi and the Meiri say that this is talking about God, that God respects you. And if God respects you, of course everyone respects you. And that's sort of like what like you shine through. It's sort of like what Reb Nachman says in Torah Vav, that there's two different types of kavod. There's the kavod of malachim, of kings, where people run after kavod. And in that type of kavod, people are always like looking into, and like, you know, when politicians and that, or people that want kavod, it's like, yeah, are you for real? Yeah. But someone who is kavod Eloki, that has the honor of God, there's no one asks a question. Someone who is just radiating godliness, who's worked on himself, who's just shining through, and he respects others, and he runs away from kavod, and he's humble, and he respects others, and he respects other people, and gives other people room, then he gets honored because of who he is. And just like to end off just with this idea, and I just heard, it's an amazing just idea of kavod, that this time,
I said
COVID, right? Were you there for that whole schmooze? Because I went on like a whole.
I heard you mention it.
Right, because I made but forget about COVID, but it's definitely connected. But this time period of Sfiros HaOmer is, you know, like the Beatles said, all you need is love. That's not true. We know that in this time period, 24,000 Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva died. And they were Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva. They were real students of Rabbi Akiva. And Rabbi Akiva was the one that said, V'yahavta l'reacha kamocha zal kol hagadol b'Torah. Meaning they knew that, and they were Talmidim. They knew that. But what was lacking was kavod, was respect. And I heard this from my Rebbe, Rabbi Gerzi, and it's such a important idea. You know, like people say when you get married, it's all about becoming one. It's all about becoming one, like you become into one unit. But he says, no, it's not true. Well, I mean, it is true on a certain level, but it's not true. You're two people with two different needs and desires and opinions living under the same roof. And there has to be a mutual respect for each other and each other's needs. And within that can be love can hold, and the relationship could grow. And that's the idea of Kedusha. Kedusha is separateness. We say, Harei at mikudeshes li. You are separated from the world. You are holy to me. Meaning that, and we just had Kedoshim too, you shall be holy. That Kedusha is separation for the sake of connection. That we separate, we have boundaries. I don't go past here. I don't do these things in order that I can cultivate a proper relationship. And kavod, Reishis Chachma Yiras Hashem first, and this was the problem of Nadav and Avihu. Nadav and Avihu, they loved God so much. They were in love with God like crazy. We can't imagine. But on a certain level, they lacked respect because Hashem didn't want it. It was loving on their terms. It was them expressing their love. It's like you could express your love, but if that bothers the other person, it's worthless. It's not. That doesn't help the relationship. It damages the relationship. It's like it's very pertinent to like nowadays. Like everyone's like, I love you, but if you argue with me, you're out. You know what I mean? Like, I love you. I'm there for the world. I care for you. I care for this race. I care for them. I care for them. But if you argue with you, I hate you. Meaning I love you on my terms. And there's no respect. There's a lack of respect. There's a lack of kavod. There's a lack of, oh, this is one person. This is another person. I have my opinions. You have your opinions. We both have our needs. We both have our boundaries. And I respect that. And within that, now I could love. And when it comes to respecting people, it's just like really appreciating what the other person needs, really appreciating. And this was the problem of Rabbi Akiva, meaning Could be they loved each other, but they didn't act with proper respect. They didn't maybe give each other the space which was needed. Maybe they didn't, whatever that means for them, they didn't appreciate, give the person to have the ability to have another opinion. Other opinions are okay. Different people have different ways of going, and to appreciate that there are other people. And for any relationship to exist, there needs to be kavod, a mutual respect for realizing that he's another person. He has other needs. And within that, love could be cultivated. Shkoach.
Shkoyach.
Anyone have any thoughts they'd like to share?